What's happening, guys? If you guys have an issue falling asleep, check the link down below. It's going to be the very first thing you see. It's called the relaxed state. Sleeps and sounds and sleep, something like that. So if you guys have that issue, let me know. It is one of my other channels that I just started running with my team. In this video, I want to talk about how much of a simp I used to be. I used to be a huge fucking simp. Now, I didn't pay like for her bills or anything like that. I didn't date any single mothers, nothing like that, but I used to be a huge bitch. So this is what I used to do, fellas, and I hope maybe you guys can learn from this and understand how far I've come and how far you guys can go too, as long as you keep putting in the work. Now, understand that the work is a daily thing. It's a daily thing. Everyone thinks that they can get away with a little bit of Netflix here and just skip out on their meals or skip out on their workouts. Well, working on your brain is a mental workout. You can't skip it. Actually, it's more important than your body, in my opinion. What you feed this is what makes your reality. I'm not even fucking kidding. Law of attraction right there. So this is the shit I used to do. When I was young, I never really had an issue with girls. Girls thought I was good looking enough to talk to when I was like in elementary school and shit like that. So from a young age, from my childhood, I never really had rejection from girls. And going into high school and stuff like that, I was used to girls coming to me, right? So when I actually had to go to girls, I had a gap in knowledge and how to talk to girls that way. So I had to learn that. But then when I did get a girlfriend, her and I dated for 4 years. So I dated her from literally grade 10 in Canada. It might be different for you guys in the States and other countries, but high school was grade 9 to 12. So I dated her from grade 10, I think I was 15 at the time, to I went back for an extra year, so grade 13. You don't have to do that. They ship you, usually ship you out to university or college right after grade 12, but I was dumb for a little bit. Didn't really focus on school. I focused on girls instead, or my girlfriend instead. That's how focused on the relationship I was. Just so you guys understand, simptastic I was. So I used to literally focus on my girlfriend so much that I didn't even focus on my grades. Big problem. So then number two, right? The second thing I used to do all the time was write letters for no reason. Literally no reason. I used to write letters just to say, hi, I love you so much. Literally giving her no mystery, zero mystery. Okay. So I used to sit here and go like, you know, I would go home after school and shit like that. And of course not working on my homework and shit like that. I used to sit there and I used to be like, dear so-and-so, I miss you so much. Your smile makes me so blah, 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 right? So that's literally what I would do. So, and I would do that like consistently. So I learned that shit from movies and TV shows. That's how I know it's a problem for you guys growing up, because you're surrounded by this shitty media that tells you that that's how you should be, right? So I did that. So the reason why my relationship stayed as long as it did is because I had a side to me that was attractive. Like I was very assertive. I was very strong in certain ways. So in previous videos, I talk about, look, guys, sometimes you just have to cut out certain behavior. So if I cut that out, right, I probably would have been able to keep that girl. So what happened was eventually over time, she had no mystery. We hung out all the time. We literally hung out all the time. Now, being 15 years old, I really didn't have much of a purpose or a mission in life. So I didn't have things to focus on except for school, which I was failing because I was focusing on my girl, right? So we hung out every single day, zero space, right? We didn't set dates. We didn't do nothing like that. Now, this is again, first relationship. You don't have any money. I had my first job. When I wasn't at work, I was with her, you know, but I would try to hang out with my boys, but here's where a couple issues ran in. The girl that I was dating, you know, she was super jealous. So anytime I'd go to hang out with my boys, she thought another girl was there, and we'd fight about that. Fighting with a girl is another thing. You don't fight with girls. Any man who's watching this who knows women and understands them, you don't fight with women, right? You just don't do it. Now, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes, fellas, I still slip up and I catch myself getting into that emotional state. And sometimes, you know, you got to catch yourself, right? And that's a project. You're a project. Keep working on yourself, right? I'm not a master at emotional control, you know, like some other people are when it comes to certain things. But it's something that you have to catch, and you're like, look, I got to go get into my Zen place and come back out, right? it's a project, right? But I'm getting so much better and getting further along with it than I used to be. So that's the whole point, right? And then her and I ended up breaking up. She broke up with me 2 years into the relationship. She said, I need space. We literally went and watched I Am Legend. That's how I remember this, because I took her to the movies. I wasn't driving, so we took the bus, and I bought her the movie ticket, popcorn, all that shit, and we watched I Am Legend. And after the movie, our bus route dropped her off first and then dropped me off like about 20 minutes later. So the way that it worked was we got on the bus and she hands me a letter when she gets off. She's like, this is why I've been feeling this way. And I had so the reason why she said that is I was catching her acting a little funny. And you know, when a girl acts funny after, you know, when a relationship starts falling apart, they start acting a little funny. So they start being distant. They start, you know, they don't say they love you as much, and you're catching on to what's going on here, and you're like, what's up with you? And you're just trying to get them to admit it. Well, that's what I was trying to do with her. So I literally, like, you know, was talking to her, trying to get it out of her, and then she hands me this letter saying this is how I'm feeling. So we're caught back up now, and I get home, I call her. I get on the phone, I'm like, yo, what is going on? I'm crying like a bitch, trying to figure out what's going on, right? First heartbreak of my life, and I'm crying like a bitch. So what did I even do? It's such a blur, like what actually happened. But I remember listening to some Usher, and I remember just sitting there crying, trying to figure it all out. So I went to my dad, talked to my dad about it, and he's like, look, like, it's bound to happen at some point. And he liked her because she was part of the family at that point, because we were together for 2 years. No, we broke up in December, and then we were apart for 3 months. I was still, so this is how bad it was. I would walk over to her house, knock on her door, and talk to her sisters. I would go over to her house, try to talk to her. I was calling her. I was blowing her up. I was trying so hard to get her to talk to me and to message me and to, you know, basically console my broken heart, right? That's what I was trying to get her to do. I wasn't trying to work on myself. I was trying to get, in a subconscious way, I was trying to get mama to take away my pain. That's how she saw it. After all the visits, all the letters, and all the calling, and at that time we didn't have smartphones yet. They were just coming out, so I wasn't texting her like crazy. We had like flip phones and shit. So, you know, Facebook, MSN was kind of on its way out at that point. So after all the messages and all that stuff, and talking to all my friends were like, bro, we don't want to hear about this anymore. I was that guy. Okay, a couple months go by, we get back together. Now, I heard she'd been sleeping around, you know, partying, right? But I took her back anyway because I was an idiot. Simp. This is why I tell you guys, I wouldn't take an ex back, because you don't know what they do when they're away from you. These are where my principles come from, because I took her back, and I knew what she was doing, and I took her back anyway because my emotional state was fucked up. So I'm sitting here going, okay, it's all good. Everything will be fine. We'll get back together, and I'll just forget about what happened. Well, there ain't no forgetting, right? There's no forgetting that kind of pain. There's no forgetting that some other dude went up inside your girl when she was a virgin when y'all met. She was like, I think I was 15 and she was 14, right? So we were both young. We were 6 months apart in terms of our age, and we hadn't slept together, you know? So when you learn that kind of information, you're sitting here going, fuck, like, I didn't want to, you know, I was still so hurt. But she messaged me after I left her alone. Finally, I finally left her alone for about a month and a half, give or take. So as she called me, and she's like, look, I've been missing you. I've been thinking about you, and I want to get back together. I want to talk. So I talked to her, and I got back together with her immediately because I was still in so much pain. That didn't take my pain away. So story time, right? That didn't take my pain away. I was still hurt. I was still hurting from all the pain that she put me through, and all the pain I put myself through, because I was still trying to visit her and trying to, you know, figure all this shit out. I was still in pain, and I was trying to put her in pain because of how much pain she put me in. I see a lot of my coaching students wanting to do that. A lot of the students of mine want to see their ex hurt because they got hurt by their ex. I want her to hurt too. I want her to feel like how she made me feel. Fellas, I get it. I know exactly how you feel. Because I got back together with her and I would call her names. I would call her slut because I called her an open hole. Bad news, man. I still feel bad about that because even though she's the one who hurt me, I still chose to take her back and then I put her through pain for it. I did let it go. I mean, I don't sit here and like, I don't sit here and fucking get all depressed about it. I think about it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not very cool. But I was also very young and I didn't know anything. So the guidance that I had in my life at the time, my father, he taught me things, but he wasn't like, this is why you need to learn this. That's why as a coach, that's what I try to do with you guys. Try to teach you why. He's like, just do this, right? So I'm a kind of person that likes to understand why. Why do you need to do things? And if I had been taught that, then I would have went down a different path. But anyway, so we got back together. Our relationship was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Never the same. It was never the fucking same because all that love and innocence in our relationship went out the window as soon as she broke my heart. And as soon as I started, I just resented her. Basically, we had pure resentment for each other, especially after we got back together because there was so much unresolved pain. And she apologized, but she didn't. She's like, why would I apologize for wanting to be alone, right? And try to figure out everything to do with you. And her sisters and family loved me. So they were trying to like convince her to come back, but she's like, look, it's my life. We ended up breaking up again, and it was sort of the same thing, but it didn't hurt as much because we had so much anger and resentment built up for each other. But she broke it off with me again because I was too much of a simp to break it off with her because I was not happy. I was too much of a pussy to actually sit here and go, I don't want to be with you because I'm unhappy, right? I had broken up with her before, but I had broken up with her because I was hurt from my childhood. Okay. So when I was hurt from my childhood, I wanted to hurt other people because I was hurt. That's called being a bully, right? So when you're a bully, you want to hurt people physically, when you're at school and shit like that. Well, I was an emotional bully, different thing. So I was doing that to her. So I did build up some resentment with her, but I cut that shit out at some point because a friend of mine told me, look, if you keep that shit up, she's going to fucking dump you. I hope you know that. So that's a little piece that I left out from before, but as I talk about it, I remember it, right? So I apologize if I'm jumping all over the place, but we ended up breaking up, and we, and that was the final thing between her and I there. But 6 or 7 months goes by, something like that, and she calls me and she's like, hey, like, what are you up to? I'm in the area, because she moved after that. I'm in the area. I'm wondering what you're up to. So I was like, yeah, like it's been 6 months, whatever. And I started hanging out with like different group of friends and whatever, and seeing other girls and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was she wanted to see if there was still a spark or connection between us. And I did not want that. And guess what happened when she tried to get back together? Not like, exclusive, but tried to hang out with me again. I didn't want it. And when we hung out and I told her that I didn't want to go down that path, she chased me. She's like, look, I really, but that rejection built up more of my value because she realized that she's the one who broke it off with me and she wanted to come back and I didn't want her back. So now she's like, I can't have you. I want you. That's what happened. And I told her, no, I don't want anything to do with you. She blew up my phone. She texted me, messaged me on social media. Like Facebook was the biggest thing at the time. So she messaged me there and everything was cool for a bit. But then I was like, look, I can't, right? There's other girls that I was interested in and I was ready to move on. So then I started going out with another girl. Okay. This is relationship number 2. Still simp. Still a big ass simp. Didn't make a move until like a month and a half in. And everyone thought we were friends. And then one night we were sleeping in the same bed and I finally made a move and I was like, okay, like I'm an idiot. And she's like, yeah, you're an idiot. Why didn't you make a move a long time ago? So can you guys believe this shit? I mean, I look back at myself and I'm like, wow, like who was I? Right? Anyway, so I used to be pretty bad when it came to that. Our relationship together was sort of the same. I didn't learn my lesson from the first one. I thought that the girls I was dating was the problem, even though I was a common denominator. But I didn't realize I was a common denominator because this was my second relationship. So same thing happened. I was writing letters, telling her much, no space. Like I just wasn't on my purpose. The bottom line to all this is I was never on my purpose when dating any of these previous relationships. So her and I dated for a couple of years and ended the same way. She broke up with me. She was actually cheating on me, and I didn't know. And she had slept with me, and I didn't really know that she was cheating on me. Shit happened, and I was like, what the fuck, right? So that's how much of a simp I used to be. Is I wanted to take that girl back, and I know many of you are cringing right now because you're like, this is not the Kyle that I know, but this is how I used to be. This is how far I've come. So I literally wanted to take her back, and I'm not going to explain everything because this video is already like almost 20 minutes long without cuts. Wanted to get back together, and I was an idiot, and basically she never had any respect for me because she knew that if she knows deep down in her mind, if I cheat on a guy, he should walk away from me and never talk to me again. And I didn't do that, like a bitch. So basically, she never had any respect for me in the first place, or it was low. And but again, I wasn't on my like looking back to the time that her and I spent together, it was always just her and I hanging out, never really setting up proper fun activity, some sort of fun date. Like there's a study out there that went around that women are more attracted to you when they feel certain like heightened fear and shit like that, like roller coaster rides, kind of shit like that, or like haunted houses, shit like that. If you guys go on a date and you invoke some sort of like fear or some sort of like anxiety, sort of like a dread thing, right? So I was complacent. I was complacent in both relationships so far. Okay. Insecurity was never really my problem. Complacency was always my issue. Her and I broke up. She cheated on me, all that stuff. I walked away from her. A few months later, she sends me a message and I just didn't want to get back together. So this is the second time I noticed this. I pushed them away. When they broke up with me, I was like, get away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. That's when they come back. That's when they want to talk to you because they're like, look, I thought I could have you at all times and now you rejected me. So they want to figure that part out. So that's why I always tell you, go no contact, right? You can even take it a step further if you want to, but I think I was a little lucky because I pushed them away. I was like, don't ever speak to me again. I don't want to ever hear from you again. That's how I was. And they went out of their way to be like, look, I know that I made you feel this way and I want to try to fix things. That's what they did. So after 3 months, this is what happened with her. And then real quick, the next relationship was much shorter. It was only like 9 or 10 months, something like that. And same thing, sort of. I was still really weak. And then I was like, and then I had like, her and I broke up, but I wasn't like super, I was a simp with her, but not as much. I was starting to come out of it. It was sort of like, okay, because I started coming across Corey Wayne and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like I just didn't know everything yet. There was gaps in my knowledge. So then I had like an epiphany moment, and this isn't usually how things work, but it worked like this. I had an epiphany moment and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing everything wrong. I'm not letting her, I kept confessing my love. I kept, what are you up to? Do you want to do this tonight? I never really showed anyone that I had a busy life, that I have my own purpose, that I have my own shit to work on. We need to carve out some time for us to hang out and see each other. I never cared about the reciprocation. I was always giving, acting like a nice guy because I didn't want to get hurt and blah, blah, blah. And the very first pain that I had from the very first relationship carried with me for quite a while. So I was carrying all this resentment and it turned me sort of into a nice guy, into my new relationship, because I didn't want to feel that pain again, because I thought that came from us resenting each other and hating each other and me calling her names and being an asshole. So I decided to take the nice guy route, and all the pain I went through made me even nicer and nicer. So it was a real big problem. So what I ended up going to do from there was I analyzed everything that I was doing. I went into my bat cave and I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. So I went over Corey Wayne's material and Doc Love's material. So Doc Love is mentioned in Corey Wayne's book, but Doc Love is old school, older guy. And he, the way that he is with women is really dope. But I really dug in and I was like, oh my God, I did that wrong. And I mean, I studied it like day in, day out. Every hour was something to do with Corey Wayne. So that's why I attribute so much of my success in life and with women to him, because I was so bad. And now I've been with my girl for 6 years, and a lot of the same things sort of they were a little creepy. Not my behavior, but like things were creeping up from my past in my new relationship, early in the relationship. Weird moments where I would be emotional out of nowhere and shit like that. And that comes from unresolved trauma. That trauma that I felt from my previous relationships and being cheated on was never resolved. I never told myself that, look, it's okay that happened because you learn from it and you can move on, and there's other women that will love you. Don't worry about what one woman did to you. And then once I finally I let it go. That's why I'm telling you guys, just let go of the people that hurt you, because they don't matter. They're there to teach you a lesson. And I learned my lesson. And I was like, look, one girl cheating on me and a couple, being rejected by 3 women at this point I'm the common denominator. I need to fix something. So I went down the path of learning, and I've been with this girl for 6 years now. And we're doing very, very well. I'm trying to tell you guys that there's always another girl. There's always another woman. There's always someone else that is willing to date you. And the more you work on yourself and the more that you take a look in the mirror and you're like, okay, I am being shitty. I can be better. I can be a better communicator. And that's why I made the video called The Perfect Dating Cycle, because this video will literally stop you from doing the behaviors that you would normally make if you're seeing a woman, because a lot of guys will over text or double text. A lot of guys will go through, so many things in their scenarios in their mind, and all you got to do is focus on the date. When you guys aren't with each other, attraction is growing. If she's messaging you, message her back, be like, hey baby, how you doing? I've been working on my business. What's been going on? I'm so excited to see you on Tuesday. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see you. You're beautiful. Whatever the fuck you guys want to say, right? Focus on that. Focus on every interaction. This is your number one focus for you, my one, student that I have to constantly message all the time. So when you guys are focusing on every single message or every single interaction she has with you through text, through in person, it's got to be positive, right? Try to make it as positive as possible. If she's negative, just say, you know what? I'm not going to be part of this negativity. I'm out of here. But normally people aren't really like that through text unless they're trying to evoke something from you. So reiterate the date. If it's on Friday and it's Wednesday and she's texting you and you're like, and she's like, hey, like, what's up? You're just like, I can't wait to see you on Friday. And say she wants to talk. Say, look, baby, I really do want to hear about all this, but I can't give you my undivided attention right now because I'm getting messages from my clients and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And even if you're sitting there playing Overwatch, you know what I'm saying? So and then move it over to Friday. On Friday, I can give you my 100% undivided attention. And that's what I want to do because I want you to feel heard. Say that to her, so she understands what you're trying to tell her. Because a lot of girls out there are insecure these days. So you're going to want to be like, look, if you say, I'll talk to you about it on Friday, she'll be like, why? Right? So, but if you're like, baby, look, I'm busy right now. I got stuff that I got to work on. I'm working on my business, which you should be. You should be working on your body. You should be lifting them damn weights, right? You should be working on that stuff. When you actually do see her, you have something to talk about. You have something to rap about. You know what I'm saying? And then she's gonna be like, oh, cool. Like I'm glad you're working on yourself. And you'll be like, yeah, I'm so happy to see you. And you just start kissing her. Positive. If there's ever negativity and she I had to coach one of my students through, an issue because she barked at him a little bit. I'm not gonna, say the situation because for privacy reasons, and he stood up to her because in the past, I understand why he had an issue with that, and I was there for him because if a girl barks at you, you don't want that relationship to go down the drain. So you're like, oh shit, I gotta fix this. And most men don't stand up to a woman, especially early in a relationship, because they're like, this girl could walk away from me at any point. You got to be willing to fucking walk away from every relationship at any point if they disrespect you or be negative around you. But guess what happens? They want to be around you more if they're the right woman. If the right woman's going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I was wrong. I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that to you. A lot of girls are dealing with baggage like I was. I was dealing with so much baggage and bringing in that past negativity into my relationships that shouldn't have been there, right? And this relationship that the girl that I've been with now has been the best woman I've ever been with. So I want you guys to understand, the next woman, the next great love of your life is sometimes around the corner, and you just don't know it because you're not ready to accept that love. You're not ready. And that's one thing, a skill that I have, is I'm always ready to accept new ways of thinking and new people into my life. And I've never been somebody that's been so fearful, right? And that's something that you guys have to work on. So I know this was a really long video, but if you guys have ever wondered about my story and how much of a simp I used to be, and by the way, I stick to that dating cycle thing pretty closely now. The girl and I that I'm with now, we live together, but we don't spend every waking minute. If she wants to go and because she streams, sometimes she talks to her streaming friends and all that. Look, if she wants to go do that, she can do that. Because I realized something. This is the biggest lesson that I realized before I call this video out. The biggest realization that I had is I have no control over this other human being. Zero control. I have no control over her. I don't. I can influence her decisions and her behavior through certain actions if I want to, but that's called manipulation. And now I can be like, hey baby, do you want to go for a run, or do you want to go for you want to go on a date on Friday? That's influencing, but I mean in a negative way, right? I don't want to be manipulative, and all I want is for her to be happy, and I want to be happy, and I want a relationship to flourish, and that's what it does do, right? Now, long-term relationships, man, you know a lot about each other, but that's at this point, and when you're with somebody for this long, what you're looking for isn't to be nurtured in that way. You are, but it's more like, let's build together. Whereas our goals are the same goals, same common interests. Let's see where this goes together. And that's why her and I work out so well together. So if you guys have ever wondered what my simpness was like, it was pretty bad. Now, some of you guys have probably done worse than me, and some of you guys probably have laughed at everything that I did because you would never have done that because you had good self-esteem. So good guys, I've developed myself to the point where I'm very comfortable with who I am, and I'm very happy with what I've done and what I keep on doing. And it's because of what I do every day. Read, get a good night's rest, focus on eating good food, but make sure you're working out your mind the most every single day. There's a stack of books over there. And if you look down in the description box below, you'll see the Masculine Energy Telegram channel, which will be something that you can subscribe to, which will get you to a book list. And that book list is all those books that I'm looking at right now. So you guys can see, oh shit, those are all the books that he reads. I want that mindset so that we can work on this together. And if you guys want to get help sleeping, check out the channel below, and I'll make you whatever sleeping, sounds that you want. Well, my team will. So anyway, see you guys in the next video. Coaching is down below. Done.